Hey, this is Time Bomb, and if it's your first time checking out the channel, hit that subscribe button to catch all the updates. Thanks a lot for joining me here today. I'm going to do a breakdown on what I think are the most popular defenses in Madden 19. So, first of all, the thing that I want to start off with is to say that one of the biggest things this year has been the fact that they have... I said the biggest thing this year is that people are substituting in safeties at linebacker a whole lot more. Like, I don't even think I've had used... Like, they gave us this free Shazier. I don't even think I've used him in, like, a couple weeks because I've just been using safeties in linebacker, like, all the time. I think I only have one formation where I'm using my Shaz at all. So that's the first one I'm going to talk about here today. Now, this is out of the multiple defense. Now, the reason that people are using it, why I think the one thing that the multiple defense can do that no other defense can do is out of the 4-3 odd formation, you can actually sub in safeties into the middle linebacker spot. So that just gives you that extra hit power and coverage and speed out there on the field on those safeties in that position. I think that's the epitome of Madden 19 is having those safeties on the field, and the 4-3 odd lets you do that. That's probably one of my main defenses. I use this Tampa 2, come out in it, and then you can audible over into these other 4-3 plays with those safeties in position. That gives you a lot of options. So you see a lot of that in Madden 19 just for that reason exactly. So it's something that I've been doing and I like, and it's something that I could very well see them changing for next year because I think it is a little bit it's a little bit dumb. I think they really need to actually add in the consequences of having that many DBs on the field. If they're saying heavier formations should pancake those guys, and I think they should make it happen more based on personnel, not the formation necessarily. So let's take a look at our next play that I think is probably one of the biggest formations. This one, I'm also going to show it out of this multiple defense, but you can actually see it out of a couple different plays. What I think is really big this year is zero blitzing, and you see it out of the 5-2 a lot, where people will use this pinch play or even the fire zone 2 and just basically send 7. Seriously, sending 7 out of these, 6 at least, and then you're just usering over the middle. That's been something that's been very common this year, sending 6 or 7 at the QB and just usering over the middle often out of a cover 2 shell. So then you just, like the fire zone here, and then you just user right over the middle, either with one of those linebackers, send the rest, or you use the safety and just kind of watch over the middle with him depending on it. Or you could use a cover 3 shell too. Sometimes that makes it easier if you're just the middle up safety and leaving the 2 on the sides as well. Out of the double A gap, I have to switch sides. The same kind of thing out of the double A gap you're seeing a lot of as well, where your opponent will, you would see it commonly. It was probably the most used solo battles defense to use the double A gap, use the mid blitz. It's the same thing in head-to-head. Because you get the little bit of man coverage, and then it's sending the 7 out really quickly. So we'll show here that you can see it on this side. There's that mid blitz. I'm sure you're very familiar with it. Everyone's seen that. Where it's just setting those 6 stock up the top, and you're just naturally kind of hovering right there. So it kind of can pull away some of the guards, and the pressure can get in there very quickly. Now, I think it can be picked up pretty easily, but in a few cases, there's been some opponents this year who have run the mid blitz against me very well and have made my life difficult. So, I mean, personally, it's few and far between, but that's not to say that it hasn't been. This zero blitzing, those are just 2 examples of it out of the 5-2 and the double A gap. This zero blitzing has been really popular this year. I think that whole strategy of just sending a bunch and using over the middle as best you can has been a viable strategy this year, and we've seen more of it. So I would definitely say it's one of the more popular defenses this year. So the next defense that I'd like to talk about, I think, that has been pretty big all year is this big nickel over G. Now, it's a new formation for this year, and it's in every defensive playbook, so I think it kind of makes sense that it has been more popular for that reason. But what it does as well is it allows you to bring in safeties into the box for the same, just like I was talking about with the 4-3 odd, except you're out of a big nickel over G. And I think it is, for me, it's my main defense, and I think it is kind of a do-it-all defense. It goes hand in hand with running a block shed defense, which is basically just pressing the LB and crashing your line up so that they come around on the edges like this, and it really creates some pressure. Makes it tough for your QB to roll out because they're basically going to come and meet him there. It's kind of what has replaced contains once they've nerfed them earlier in the year. They kind of really botched the contain, so now those don't actually attack the QB until very late. So these crashing outside has become the new version of the contain to get the pressure in there. So this has been very popular, running block shed D, and I think the big nickel is that best example of that. I really only send 3 at the QB out of it, and I get pressure a lot. I get a lot of sacks. It's got to be frustrating for my opponents, and I feel like I can get great coverage. I kind of do a mix of man coverage and zone out of it. Having different safeties and CBs kind of in there gives you a lot of options. So I think it's for my money, that's the best defense, but I'm going to put it at 3rd just because it doesn't get the pressure like you're seeing in some of these other defenses I'm going to go over next. So the next defense that I think I want to talk about was really popular earlier in the year. I was liking it a lot. Earlier in the year, it was like my main defense, to be honest. It's the nickel normal, and I think the play that really made the difference this year that was very similar to actually Madden 17, we saw the same thing then, the nickel blitz 2 has become one of the most popular defenses this year. And the thing is, it's actually been popular for a really long time too. It hasn't just been like the last bit. It's been since like September or October. People are still running nickel normal, the nickel blitz 2, and it just basically the way that it attacks on the edge, that the way that he comes in there, it's just getting a lot of pressure really quickly. So I think that we're seeing tons of it still. You can also use the big nickel over G package out of the nickel normal, and that will give you some options with that slot, with that nickel back, that you can actually have him into deep blues, which you can't do stock without switching into that package. So that's one advantage, I think, of using that package, which has become sort of popular, I think, so people can make some more choices basically out of those different packages, and yeah, just get some different personnel. Not some different personnel. See, the nickel normal, you can also have your safeties in that spot, in those middle linebacker spots as well, so I think that's another reason why it's been so popular, because it allows for that same personnel changes we've been talking about that have been so beneficial this year, and also that pressure just coming off the edge out of the nickelback, which now we're going to go into the last defense, which is clearly, to me anyway, the most popular defense of the year. It's this Tampa 2 out of the nickel 3-3-5 and the 3-3-5 odd. We see it so much this year, and people can really get a lot of pressure quickly. It's kind of the same thing as the nickel normal, where they're coming off the edge, and you see what a lot of times they'll do is they'll take this nickel back and they'll bring him right in here, and it just kind of, I don't know, it just really creates a lot of problems having him right in there, I find, and the pressure will get in there really quickly, kind of come right through the middle there, and then they'll just kind of use her over the middle, and sometimes they'll do a mix of either sending 1, 2, or all 3 of these middle linebackers in some sort of combination of that, and a lot of times they will get pressure in there very quickly just by doing that. You see someone's going to get in, and it's just all they're doing is they're just sending the house, and I like to run against it when I do see my opponents play this. For my money, I can't play as good a defense out of this as I can out of the big nickel over G, but that's not to say that's for everyone. I would say a lot of the high-level Madden, I mean, some of the Madden tournaments have been won using this defense this year, so it is one of the best defenses. It's a high-end defense. I think you have to know how to specialize it a little bit more, but it's very popular, and I'd say the most difficult defense when run properly to play against. So this has been my breakdown on the 5 biggest defenses of Madden 19. So if you haven't tried any of these out, give them a go. I think I probably have breakdowns on almost all of them. And yeah, this is the stuff that you're going to see against in Madden 19 if you're still playing for the rest of the year. Or let me know what you think about my breakdown on all of these defenses. If you have any defenses that you think would fit in as being some of the most popular or the most prevalent defenses for Madden 19, and let me know what you think about it and what you'd like to see change in defenses in Madden going forward. So thanks a lot for checking out this video. Remember to give it a like. I've been Time Bomb. You guys are awesome. I will catch you later.
Boom, boom.